What else can I say? What else can I actually say? It just gets harder and harder. It just keeps getting harder. And do you know what the worst thing is? And I don't know if people have seen this or not, but Butler didn't even answer the press. I mean, that might have changed as of recording this to as of uploading this, but as far as I'm recording this, Butler has apparently left without speaking to the press. I mean, we've sunk to a new low now. That is now not only did we lose 4-1 to a team that haven't won in 5 games, and not only are we now 11th and we're still 5 points off 6th, no idea how, but that is now no win in 8 games, and that's a 4th consecutive loss. And I said this at the beginning of the Charlton game, and I'll say this now. This is not down to the manager. This is down to the players. The players have to take responsibility for today's performance because Butler's not on the pitch telling them to do better. Butler's not on the pitch telling the midfield to put some creativity in, put some balls into the box, bring the team forward. Butler's not on the pitch telling those strikers to get in the right areas and put some quality in their finishing if we're ever in the penalty area. And Butler is not the one telling he's not on the pitch telling those defenders to not defend like a pack of wolves defending a packet of What's-It from a hungry badger. Butler's not on the pitch doing that. Goalkeeper, you can't blame him. You can't blame Balcom for that performance. Yes, he conceded 4 goals, but the 4 goals were not his fault. It was defensive mistakes. The only players I will give credit to for today is Balcom and to some extent Taylor Richards. And I didn't think after the last few games I'd be giving credit to Taylor Richards because for the previous few games he looked like he didn't want to play at this club. But he stood up, manned up and stood up big time. And for the last 10-15 minutes of that second half, as soon as he came on the field with Bostock, you noticed the difference. We were pushing up, we were pushing forward. And the second half, it was a little bit better than it was better than the first half by a country mile. The second half, but we just couldn't undo the damage from the first half. Richards is the only outfield player I give credit to for today. Bostock, yeah, he tried as well. Everyone else can't forgive that. You cannot forgive that. Jason Lakilo. Jason Lakilo. That guy played 90 minutes. And you know what? This is where I'll bring the manager into this. And this is one of the things, if he's going to stay in this job to the end of the season, as promised, he's got to learn to bring on the right substitutions for the right people. He brought on the right subs. You know, making a substitution during making 2 subs during the first half. Bravery. Absolute bravery. And to the end of that first half, it had an extent worked a little bit because we had more energy with Richardson Bostock on. Horton was a youngster on the pitch. He just didn't look like, he didn't look like that was his game. Wigan were just tearing him apart. Robertson, inexcusable, invisible. Does Celtic have a buyback clause? I don't know. But making subs in the first half, making 2 subs in the first half, 2 very important changes. Well done. That's great from the manager. But in terms of other subs, you've got to bring off the right people and bring on the right people. Prime example, Lakilo. Shouldn't have been playing 90 minutes today. He should have been off probably at half-time along with, Reece James. I think Reece James came off for Danny Amos, didn't look that much better at left-back. And that's no disrespect to Danny Amos because I'm sure he's a wonderful player, but he is still coming back from the injury and spending so much time on the commentary and stuff like that. So he's coming back into it. So I don't know if that I don't know if that scenario was great for him. If we were winning 4 or 5-0, yeah, give him a 45-minute run out. Fair enough. But we just weren't in that situation at all. But the kilo, no disrespect to that to that guy. But he should not have been playing 90 minutes. He should have been off probably at half time, even just 10, 15 minutes into the second half. Why? And the first substitution, why was Matt Smith coming off, who had a decent work rate, for Madger Gomez? Madger Gomez! The guy who, as soon as he came on, he didn't even make a 5-yard pass. He couldn't even pass 5 yards. As soon as he came on, we looked worse. We could have done something in the second half with the right chances we had. But as soon as Smith came off and Gomez came on, slowed down the entire play. Slowed it down so much. And we just looked lacklustre for the rest of the half. And then you had a chance to bring on Okunabiri, which we should have done at half-time or just a little bit after half-time. You think, great, Lakilo's going to come off. Oh no, it's Josh Sims coming off, the guy that assisted the Taylor Richards goal at the end of the first half. We're bringing off the assister to the goal who looked like could actually do something, but you bring him off and you keep Lakilo on for 90 minutes? Sorry, but that's something the manager needs to look at, making the right changes. I'm not going to slate the manager. I'm not going to slag off the players. But if the manager needs my advice, I mean, he probably won't come to me for advice, but if he ever needs advice, this is my advice to Andy Butler. Make the right substitutions and take off the right people. Lakilo should have been off. Gomez should have never been on that pitch. I wouldn't have even brought Bostock on. I would have started John Bostock. It's the same player, but to be honest with you, one thing that I don't agree with is the manager getting all the slack for it by the fans. I think we've got to take responsibility here. Not me, I've said, the manager's not at fault here. It's the players. People need to learn that the manager can only do so much. The players on the pitch need to be good enough. And in fact, the assistant to Butler at the Bells team, Nick Buxton, actually put it out on Twitter. You play a certain system, but if players aren't trying, you can't blame the manager for that. That is exactly what I mean. That's what I've been saying. That's what Nick's saying. That's what the club will be saying. That's what certain fans are saying to other fans. You can't just blame the manager. It's like a top Premier League club, like Man U or Arsenal. You can't just blame one and ignore the rest. We've got 3 components: the players, the board, the manager. You can't blame 1 or 2 and leave the other 1 or 2 to just go on and do whatever. You've got to look at all 3 components here. That's what you've got to look at. There's 3 components at every single football club: the players, the board, the manager. You've got your own opinions. I don't disagree. The players need to look at themselves. The manager needs to work out certain things to improve his game in some areas. Yes, we can't blame the manager 100%, but he does need to look at substitutions, etc. Players need to start playing for the badge on the shirt. They need to start playing for the badge, because at the minute they're not. From a boardroom side of things, they need to be just being more open. And I think that's the thing with the board. My message to the board is just be more open with the fans. Come out, press a statement out, especially after today's performance. My message to the board today is put a statement out, an open letter to the fans to say, today was a disappointment, but we're going to press on. We're going to do this, 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 and this. We're preparing for next season. We're preparing for this, this, and this. We're preparing for this, this, and this. And then fans can look at that and think, oh, hang on a minute, I might have had my, sort of differences with the board, but I tell you what, they've put a statement out to the fans, an open letter to fans, and they've said they're going to do this, this, and this with the evidence. They're going to promise it and back it up. You know what? Fair play. Let's just go for it. The sooner the sooner the board puts a statement out to the fans, the safer fans feel. Because right now, the fans don't feel safe at the minute this season. We feel like we could go to 15th, 16th. We could be closer to the relegation place than we are the top 6 if we keep losing. And we've got dreaded Burton Albion coming up on Tuesday. The team that have won their last 10 out of the last 15 games, 10 out of 15 games they've won. That's going to be wonderful, isn't it? Anyone putting bets on an 8-0 win for Burton? Place your bets, everybody. Place your bets. We're not exactly the bookies' favourite for that game, are we? But we might as well just go into these player ratings. Let's start off with the substitutions. So, of course, Okunabiri, Gomez, Bostock, Richards, and Amos were the substitutions. We had to use all 5 substitutions today. So let's start in order. Let's go with the 2 subs in the first half. Halfway through the first half, Horton and Robertson off. Richards and Bostock. So first of all, Richards. I'm going to give that guy a 6 because at least he tried to make stuff happen. Bostock is going to get a 6 as well. He tried. It wasn't the best performance, but he tried. Next up, Danny Amos replacing Reece James. Amos gets a 5. Just wasn't his game, in my opinion. Then on comes Madja Gomez. That guy, I'm sorry, Madja Gomez, if you're watching this, but you get a 3 today, and that's being generous, a 3. Couldn't make a 5-yard pass, made the midfield worse, and just wasn't his game today. And then finally, you've got Okunabiri, 5, didn't make enough impact in the time that he had. Now let's go through the starting 11. Balcom, he gets a 6. The goals weren't his fault. Still conceded 4, which, do I boost it down to a 5? No, because that's just being harsh on Balcom. He was the better performer overall, in my opinion. And, Balcom couldn't do much about the goals. He tried his best to keep out the rest of them, but he couldn't do anything about the goals he conceded. Back 4, Wright, 5. Just wasn't his game. Just lacked stuff. Anderson, 5. Again, just overall not good enough. I think one of the goals, especially, I think it was the 4th goal in the second half, or the 3rd goal, I can't remember which one. It looked like he had dumbbells attached to his shin pads. Like he just couldn't have any pace at all. It was like dumbbells attached to his shin pads. Those dumbbell weights. I've got in my gym at the side of me. But yeah, it's like he had dumbbells attached to his shin pads. Just didn't have any pace. Cameron John, 4, just not good enough. He's playing at centre-back now, and people are wondering why he's at the club in the first place, which is a shame for him because he's still young. He's still got time to learn. I'm not going to give up on Cameron John, though. I think he's still got time to learn. He's still got a chance to do some good for this club, but yeah. And then Horton at left-back, 4, just wasn't his game. Looked like a boy against men. Just got turned apart by Wigan, cooked up like a beef stew, and just overall not good enough. Midfield, Smith, I'm going to give him a 5. His work rate is the best thing for him. Robertson, 3. Invisible, inept, devoid of ideas. Just needs to be dropped for that game. James in the midfield, I'm going to give him probably a 5. Again, just not good enough. Just average. Lakilo, 3. Again, not good enough. Devoid of ideas. Needs to be dropped for the next game. Just to learn a bit more off the bench. He's still young, still got time to learn, and hopefully he does improve for the end of the season. Sims actually gets a 5, a high 5, going near to a 6. Again, just Sims looked like he could have done something with more time, but overall just not good enough. And then Omar Bogle. Bogle gets a big fat 4, and just not good enough, just devoid of ideas and just alone again. And again, we're screaming out for a forward partnership here. We're screaming for one. So what do we do against Burton Albion? Well, what else can we do? Butler's not spoken to the press as of recording this. He's still not spoken to the press. I've been told by fans that he's actually left before without speaking to the press. Can't confirm that, but I've seen on I think the Free Press. I think the Free Press will have reported it by now, if he has or hasn't. But I have seen some stuff that, and I think other fans have seen it as well, that he's not answered the press and he's actually left without speaking to the press, which, is just a new low for this club. It's just a new low for our season. And if we don't, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest with you, if we don't beat Burton and we don't beat Shrewsbury and Accrington, season's over. Season is over. And there we go. That's all I can say, really. Just need to improve, but at the minute, with this current form, I don't see us improving. You know, people are going to say in the comments down below, well, we need a new manager. We need a new manager. And I keep saying to you guys, no. Butler needs to improve on certain things, like making the right substitutions and bringing on the right people and bringing off the right people. But apart from that, and, you know, certain formation selections are doubtful, but, you know, his hands are tied with Halliday, not 100%. Coppinger, is that another injury for him? You know, is that it for this season now for Coppinger? Is he injured for this game? Should be interesting to see if it is, but I don't know, man. It's his hands were tied in those situations, so you can't blame him for that. But oh man, just not good enough. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this. Please like, comment, subscribe. Burton should hopefully be the last game using the phone technique. The green screen, well, the office should be hopefully back. Nearly said it again. The office should hopefully be back sort of midway through this next week, and then we'll see what happens. But thank you very much, guys. I'm Aaron Chandler from Forever Football, DRFC, and that, my friends, is full time. Rovers till I die. Let's just hopefully get the win in the next game. But if not, then our season's over, and I don't know what the future is.